Hey, what's up guys? Matt here, coming to you from LA area's oldest, largest, and finest Harley-Davidson dealership, Laidlaw's Harley-Davidson. So I got another custom highlight build here. So I've got a 2020 Low Rider S in the vivid black, and this is a similar build to what we've been doing lately. Hopefully you guys aren't getting sick of these builds yet, but this is the Russ Wernimont FXRT fairing on a Low Rider S. And it's got full suspension, it's got legends in the front and Russ Wernimont designs in the rear. And he's got a Thunderheader on there as well. So I'm going to be giving you guys a walk around on the bike and taking it out for a quick ride and giving you guys my thoughts on it. Alright, so let's jump into a walk around on this 2020 model year Low Rider S in vivid black. And I want to thank Jed for allowing me to feature his bike on the YouTube channel here, so thank you very much. So first off, I want to say that you've probably seen a couple of these builds on the channel now. This is turning out to be a really popular build on a really popular bike. The Low Rider S is by far the best selling motorcycle we've had in the 2020 model year, which when I first laid eyes upon it at the dealer show, I knew that would be the case. The Low Rider S just appeals on so many different levels to so many different people. So coming around the front here, we've got the FXRT style Russ Wernimont fairing on here, and you've got the JW speaker LED headlamp on there as well, and just a really great proportionately and just aesthetically and functionally fairing. I mean, it checks off all the boxes. I've ridden several of these bikes, including our world champion Coast Glide, and this fairing is just awesome. Front wheel and everything is stock, the brakes stock. The suspension, he did do Legends Axio 43 inverted M8 suspension, so basically drop-in cartridges for the inverted front ends on here, the 43mm front ends, and that suspension combined with the rear shocks. He used RWD, Russ Wernimont design shock. This bike absolutely rides phenomenally and handles awesome, so really fun riding this thing. And of course all the paintwork and everything was done by Seth over at Aggressive Designs, our preferred painter. So come around to the engine here, so he did do the ratchet style, Can-Am style air cleaner on here. This is a genuine Harley-Davidson part, and the engine, as far as the displacement piston cylinders, that's all remains stock. So this is the stock 114 cubic inch build, and he's got both of the Screaming Eagle tuners on here, so the Pro Street tuner and the automatic tuning module, and he's got a Thunderheader exhaust system on here, which sounds amazing. And Thunderheader is really well known just for its power output. These pipes are designed to create the most power possible, and this thing did not disappoint. This bike absolutely ripped. So here for the pegs, you've got death metal racing pegs, and kind of a cool little death metal eagle on there, and it's kind of like that moto style with like the spiked look, almost like what you'd find on a dirt bike, but obviously a lot higher grade and more premium finishes for the Harley-Davidson application. So here you've got a 12-inch West Coast T-bars, and like I said, 12 inches. Obviously this suits and fits the fairing really well. You can see the top caps of the Legend drop-in suspension there on the forks, and this is kind of a similar style to what you'd see like on Lucky Dave's. Lucky Dave's is a bar that we've used on some of this style builds, but yeah, these bars are the West Coast T-bars. These are Biltwell grips. They're called the Illumi Core. They're like the highest end Biltwell grips that they make. A lot of Biltwell's grips are like a $20 rubber grip, but these are aluminum core with like a rubber grip surface area on them, so a pretty nice feeling on the hand, and it's a quality product as well. Jed took it a little bit further than we typically do with the stereo setup, so he went with all Kicker products. So he's got the Kicker amplified controller receiver, which is Bluetooth enabled, and so you set your music on your cell phone, throw it in your pocket, and just stream the music from your pocket. He's also got the Kicker amplifier. It's a 4-channel 300 watt amp, and it's bridgeable, so he bridged it to 150 watts per channel there. And he's got the 5¼ inch Kicker speakers, 4 ohms, and this thing is actually a lot louder than some of these other FXRT style low riders we've done in the past. Certainly louder than our Coast Glide stereos on here, so he spent a little extra time and effort there. And as far as tail light, he's got the Moon's MC LED tail light there. It has the integrated turn signals in there, so he's able to eliminate the stock turn signals off the sides. He's got the Russ Wernimont Designs monoshock in the rear, like I mentioned. You can see the remote reservoir mounted there to the swing arm with the adjuster and everything. And you can see more of the peg and the shifter peg on the left hand side there. Like I mentioned, pegs are death stiff metal racing, and he's also got the shifter peg to match as well. This style of peg and shifter peg has a heightened grip properties to it, much like a mountain bike or BMX bike, like a dirt bike, where you really want that sure-footedness or that anti-slip feature to it. You almost got to lift foot up off the peg when you want to reposition it, just because you can't slide it along the surface if you have like a rubber bottom sole. He just kept the factory stock paint on here with the classic Harley-Davidson logos and everything, which I think are really suiting of this bike. And he's got a Whiplash Speedco seat on here. It's got a really deep bucket pocket seat on here with a high back to kind of really keep you in place. And these seats can be really customized when you order them. I think they're made by order actually, and a local company here make great seats. Whiplash Speedco. He's got the alternative material on the back here, so kind of changed up the different surfaces and panels of the seat on here. He's got kind of like that bronze stitching to kind of match the wheels and the highlights on the Low Rider S. So the seat turned out really nice. Definitely goes with that club style look that a lot of these guys go for on here. And that's about it, guys. So just a really good, well-rounded build here. Simple, clean, and almost like the bike came from the factory. You know, if you just look at the main silhouette of the bike, nothing too crazy. Pretty good color palette. Again, pretty simple. Didn't really mess with the finishes on the engine at all. You don't really have to with the Low Rider S. It's all blacked out already. And the Thunderheader exhaust sounds good as always. I didn't mention the lay-down license plate holder, so that's out of the Drag Specialties catalog there. He's also got a couple plugs on the side of the strut there where the rear turn signals came out. And here's another shot of the remote reservoir for the Russ Wernimont Design shock. So the shock is about 13.5 inches. That's 1 inch larger than the stock shock. The stock shock's about 12.5 inches, but it does raise the seat by about 2 inches. Yeah, a rear shock on these Softails makes a big difference. That's something I typically try to stress a lot. And here's a closer shot of those Legends Axio 43 drop-in cartridges. And this did not change the ride heights to the bike at all. So you kept the stock tubes, stock ride height, but you just have a higher grade suspension in there. Not that the stock suspension is too bad. The front stock suspension is actually not bad. You got the Showa dual bending valve suspension in the front on these Softails, which is a pretty dang nice stock setup on here. Now for my favorite part of the video, let's jump on this thing and take it out for a rip and have a little fun. said it several times, I'll say it again. This is just an awesome setup for the Low Rider S. Love this bike. It's like a do-all bike where you really don't compromise on anything. You've got the soft-tailed chassis, which is a great performance-based cruiser, especially set up with the Low Rider S with the dual disc brakes, inverted front end, and then with the fairing, you just make it such a good touring-capable bike out on the freeway. If you want to do long distance, it just really is extremely good wind deflection. I'd say it's about 70 to 80% of what like a full like road glide or street glide would be. And so just a fun bike. I love the stance with the tall T-bars as well. Great leverage, fists in the air. You got the club style profile of the bike as well. The fairing is kind of paying homage to an awesome bike of the past as well. It's just an awesome package. I'd be
Officers are on the scene. Proceed with caution. Suspect is armed. Officers are on the scene. Proceed with caution. Disregard the call.
Just kidding, guys. No ticket that day, thank goodness. So one of the questions that I get asked a lot on YouTube when I feature bike builds that are similar to this is people will say something like, well, why don't you just get a road glide? And really that comment comes from a place of ignorance and not really knowing anything about a Low Rider S or a road glide and how they compare to each other. So, first off, the Low Rider S weighs about 130 pounds less than the road glide. And so that really changes the handling, the properties of the bike a lot. The dimensions, the rider triangle, and just kind of the footprint of the Low Rider S as a whole is just smaller than the road glide. And so if you're a smaller rider or someone that doesn't want the big hulking full bagger, going around town or whatever, then the Low Rider makes a lot of sense. But maybe you're also someone that likes to get out on the highway and do a little bit of traveling, and so the fairing is a very nice thing to have. So once again, it's kind of best of both worlds. Whereas, a rider like me who's taller, I'm 6'6", who rides 90% of their mileage is out on the highway, 65 miles an hour plus, well then the touring bike makes a lot more sense. Quite frankly, if I wasn't 6'6", maybe I was under 6 feet, and I'd probably get this setup right here. I'm in love with it. It's just a great all-around setup. The style is amazing, and it's a fun bike that you can rip through the canyons and have a little bit more nimbleness and everything. So yeah, just a really good all-around bike build. But I'm not, and so I'll probably always have a bagger as my primary bike, and I have a lot of fun on those bikes as well. The suspension was a nice upgrade. It's one of those things where, you can spend a lot of money on a lot of different things and not really change the bike much. But suspension is one of those things that if done right, it really dramatically increases your quality of life as far as like the ride comfort and just the handling and really just keeping the bike from jumping around in turns and, braking good and just handling your weight properly. And where it really shines is when you're out on bumpy highways doing higher speeds. Like when I took it out on the freeway for that little stretch, I could definitely tell that the suspension had been upgraded. It's a really big difference. One thing I forgot to mention is Jed got the integrated turn signals into the mirrors up there. That's a genuine Harley-Davidson product. So remove the front turn signals, put them up in the mirrors, clean it up a little bit. The Thunderheader exhaust always sounds good. It's just kind of one of those iconic sounds that everybody knows what they're going to get with the Thunderheader, just that really loud, raw sound that you can hear from a block away. The fit and finish of the Thunderheader is kind of subpar. There's a lot of pipes out there where the fit and finish and the quality and everything is a little bit better, but you kind of know that when you're going into a Thunderheader. You got great performance out of it. And the style is a little bit funky, but it's almost like it's got its cult following at this point. It sounds great, performs great. Because it's handmade, the fit and finish is a little bit inconsistent, but that's alright. Sometimes it just adds to the character of the bike. It'll be interesting to see in 10 years how this style holds up. I think it's still going to be hot and look good, but right now it's kind of trending, and so a lot of guys are kind of jumping on this look and style. But I think it will still look good. We're talking about a fairing that was designed for the Nova project, a V4 dual overhead cam water-cooled engine back in the 70s, and it's coming back now all of a sudden, and so it's just kind of a cool anomaly and a re-emerging style that I'm just a huge fan of. I get asked a lot of questions about pricing and what something like this would go for. So a bike like this with the bitchin' stereo and the awesome suspension and kind of decked out, you're looking like low to mid 30s. This one was probably about 34,000, 35,000. but some of the builds that we've featured on the YouTube channel here that maybe didn't have all the stereo equipment and stuff, you can get those for, you know, high 20s, like 28, 29, right around there. You know, if you want to go all in and do like a Coast Glide build, kind of like our world champion, you know, you're with the price of the bike and everything all in, you're probably right around the $50,000 to $55,000 range. So that kind of gives you an idea. Just, and then everyone's a little bit different. All of our customers have had kind of their own little spin on things. Some of them have done motor work, others haven't. But you know, this one with the full stereo, the fairing setup, the full suspension on it, and you know, the tuners, the pipe, you know, this one, like I said, low 30s to mid 30,000 on this bike. But you know, we can kind of cut and paste, and you can choose kind of the setup you want, and so you know, everything is all kind of tailored to ultimately what the rider wants to have. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you thought of the bike. If you like it, give Jed a thumbs up, give him some props, and let me know what kind of videos you guys want to see. What type of bikes would you like to see? Do you like new bikes and new build, or would you like to see some like antiques or older motorcycles on the channel as well? Let me know what you guys want me to do, and I'm a crowd pleaser. We'll try to shoot it and film it and get it up there for you guys to enjoy. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. As always, if you're looking for a bike in Southern California, hit us up at Laidlaw's Harley-Davidson. We have no BS dealer fees, no added dealer markup, no prep, no setup. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. See you on the next one. Later.